Right then, you join us at Baden Hall for a spot of floater fishing. Me and Matt Woods popped down and picked like the cloudiest day of the week, but these things happen. We're just planning on hopping between lakes, and we found a few fish in this corner, and they've been a bit finicky, to be fair. Like Matt's trying to stalk them on bread at the minute, but I've managed to get a couple taken on the Sonia Bates floater pack. Just concentrating because he's trying to do me in every snag possible at the minute. But we have a bite, and I know Matt's already found an opportunity on another lake. He says they're stacking up in one of the corners, but a chap's just pulled out of here, and with us watching him and watching the fish moving around, we had to give it at least an hour. And a second cast, we got a fish on. Not massive, but it's a good start. Not long spawn, so they are still full of energy, especially under the rod tip, just twisting and turning. Just using my my new Opportunist 175 extends again. Lovely for this sort of fishing. Soft tip for those light hook links. And I managed to get a stick wrapped up in my landing net, so I'm going to try and make the best bet of this because it's all tangled. There we go. That's better. All right, come on now, let's go in that net. Absolutely nuts. Look at it. There you are. And the first one of the day. First thing I'm going to do is, while he's in the net, let's get some more biscuits out. While they're having a go, it'd be rude not to try and have another one. He's just safe in that net, so it's always worth just getting some food in. Then while if you're going to do pictures or weighing the fish, there's free food out there, so you get all your pictures done, you get your weigh in, you put the fish back, and they're already feeding, ready to go for you. Try and catch another one. Right then, first one of the day. Unfortunately, since I caught this, they've seemed to all come out of the bay now, stopped feeding. So Matt's got on his toes already, found a few fish on another lake. I think I'm going to follow suit, to be fair. Yeah, so hopefully next time you see us, we'll both be catching fish. Right then, I'm just going to run you through some bait tips on sort of how I prepare my floaters. Pretty standard. Oils, really smelly oils. So what I'm looking for is the oil's going to give me attraction to the fish, but it's also going to create a flat spot. So if you've got any breeze on the water, we've got a bit today, it flattens it off, and then you can spot your hook bait, and it makes it easier for the fish to sort of come and chase your mixers down. And then I'm going to have another form of attraction within the ground bait. So I'm going to oil them up first, and then give them a good shake, coat them all up, and then I'll put the ground bait on top. And the thinking with the ground bait is that when the mixes land on the water, the particles of the ground bait that's soaked in the oil are going to give you a second sort of, it's going to fall through the water column, so it's going to draw fish up to the top. That's the plan anyway, so we'll give it a go. I'll just run you through how I do it. So my 2 oils, the Absolute fish oil, and then I've got the hemp and halibut liquid enhancer, so that's the flavour side of it. I'm going to give them a real good douse in there. Cover them up. Same again with the other one. This will draw right into the pellet. It also prevents the water from breaking into the pellet so quick. So it gives the pellet longevity. Instead of it going to mush and sort of sinking away, it stays there in pellet form waiting for the fish to turn up. So I've coated these. I'm just going to put the lid back on. Make loads of noise. So you can see those. I'm going to actually put a little bit more on there because there's a few dry ones. So I'll just go again. I mean, if you could have smell-o-vision, they smell really fishy now. But yeah, they're all nicely coated. So while they're wet, I'm just going to get the ground bait on them. That one's the meaty salmon, so again, something really punchy, something that's going to draw them up. Lid back on. Again, your fishing neighbour's probably not going to thank you, but I'd normally do this the night before anyway. Then it gives the pellets even more chance to draw all that liquid on, and the goodness from the ground bait. So those, if you can see there now, they've all got a nice little coating of ground bait on. So as they sort of hit the water, that ground bait starts seeping off, drawing fish up to the top, and then they find the big slick of oil with all your pellets in. A great little tip for floater fishing. That crafty little move that we said, I've just come and poached metal. Flicked it in on my little mugging rig, and yeah, missed one straight away. Like, it tried to hook itself and I somehow missed it, and flicked back in, he's had it again. Doesn't feel a bad fish, to be fair.
Looks a good one to me, mate.
But they're all welcome, aren't they?
Yeah, this
like it's been tough. Like we've chose like the windiest day of the week, haven't we?
Yeah, it's got sunny now though.
But yeah.
And this bay on Baden, you know, every time I come here in the afternoon, there's always fish. And as you've just seen, if you just put a few baits in quite close, you can get them feeding, and then you're basically just sight fishing. Free lining, or as you've done, a little blob.
Yes, the little blob rig.
A little blob and a little pellet.
That's where he just wants to try and go around all the brambles.
Oh well.
But yeah, here we go.
Beautiful.
Cheers, Matt.
Baden gold.
Yeah, man. Cheers, mate. That's the biggest one so far today. Just flicking mixers, probably not far past the rod tips to be fair. Looking, there's still a few feeding, so hopefully we'll have a few more.
Well, mate, you found the method.
Well, we see. We've had a few, haven't we?
That little sort of imitation bait amongst the pellets, definitely the one.
Yeah. Well,
Bread, they don't want to know.
They're just so cool. They seem to be coming. They haven't read the floater rule book, have they, at the minute?
Nah.
Literally letting them start feeding them and plopping one in front of them seems to trigger some sort of reaction. But we've had a few.
Well in.
Time, mate.
2 in the bed and the little one said.
Yeah,
nice
man.
one. Nice mirror.
Top.
Well, Harry's been showing me up, which is nothing new. The bloke's a wizard. I'm not. And something that's been really weird, we've actually been using the fact that our line floats like hell to get our bait out to these fish, because we're only in a little bay, we've got the wind off our back, and we only really need a free line or a little blob.
Literally just flicking them past the end of the rod tips, really.
Well, one of Harry's little edges for free lining is to take the rind from a baby bell, yep, a baby bell, the cheese, and because it floats and it's really malleable, actually it goes a bit hard when it goes in the water, and use it as a little bit of a float. So if you just want to get a mixer out a little bit further, makes a tiny little plop. You don't have to cast it miles, but they kept trying to eat it, didn't they?
Yeah, they were more interested in the baby bell than the pellets at times. Like whether it's that sound of it hitting the water or I don't know what it is, or the silhouette of it on the surface. But well, you were the one.
I've actually been brave enough to put it on the hook.
Yeah.
Which might sound a bit daft, but I am a bit daft. And as soon as I moulded it to the same shape as the freebies, I've had a bite within about 5 minutes.
It's bizarre, isn't it, that?
Well, it's good fun.
Yeah.
Especially on a tiny little rod like this. He's going to try and get me in the other bush now. No.
Getting some food in for him while we're playing that one.
Yeah, so we've come out today. You know, we're just roving around the lakes here at Baden Hall, trying to find opportunities and catch fish. We've got no real plan, have we, other than...
Nah, just hopefully find some fish.
We expect to catch most of them off the surface, even though it's not actually that hot of a day. It's quite a good day for getting them feeding, especially as the afternoon wears on and the water warms up. And I don't know about you, mate, but it's been good fun. It's been frustrating.
It has been good fun, it has, but we've learned, haven't we? And seeing that, actually, you being brave enough to put that on, that's it has. That's
well, I tried the bread.
The trip, that.
Tried the bread, and it was almost like they couldn't fit it in their mouth. They're being really coy, which, you know, you can expect on a day ticket lake like this in the middle of July.
Seen it all before.
They've been fished for quite a lot, and getting a bit cute as the season wears on. Sometimes thinking outside the box like that will get you a bite. I mean, you were catching earlier on a cute little rig that we'll show the folks at home in a minute. Yeah.
And then realise that they're eating the...
actually eating the baby bell.
Trying to eat the float more than they were the upbait.
Well, I think I might try something like a loaded blob.
Yes.
So I can get a little bit further.
Yeah.
But as I said before,
as we're catching, they just seem to be backing off that little bit now.
Yeah, and you know, the line's floating, which means we can literally almost trot our baits out to the fish. But it's taken a long time, and I'm impatient. I don't know about you.
I'm the same, you know that.
Although I'm taking my time with this one.
It's a nice one, this one.
Nice long Baden gold common.
It's in the net.
On the baby bell.
On the baby bell, mate, that's mad. I can't believe it.
He who dares wins,
yes,
Rodders.
Yes, yes.
Lovely job.
Very nice, mate. Well done.
Well, how about that?
Yeah. Double take. And yours on a unique method as well.
Yeah.
I bet.
Bit cheesy the way I caught this one.
Yes, mate.
A
Definitely
little bit cheesy,
cheesy.
a bit like me.
I bet that hasn't been done before, has it? I just, yeah. That's took my breath, that has.
Well, this bay's always been good to me. They really do get in here when it's warm.
Yeah?
It's one of them areas where there's a couple of swims where the carp lads don't go in because they haven't got very many options. But
yeah.
the option they really need is what we were using, you know?
Yeah.
Free lining.
Flicking floaters. Literally, what are we fishing? 20 yards,
if
tops.
If that, and you could have caught them closer if we were any good.
Yeah.
Well, look at that. Beautiful. Let's slip them back and move on to the next one.
Yeah, hopefully catch maybe.
I reckon
finish with a little bigger one.
Yeah, I reckon
Mind
there's
you,
a few over there.
Yours is pretty big.
That'll do.
Sweet. Super, Matt.
Well, as we touched on before, preparing your pellets in the right way, as Harry showed you, makes a massive difference. And I can just quickly show you. By having oil on the pellets, it's really important that you just keep putting oil on the pellets, giving them a little shake. Because when they land on the water, all that wind line just goes. The oil creates a flat spot on the surface, and it's really helping us where we're sort of free lining to see the fish. Because the water's not white, the water's not got the waves on it, it's completely flat, we can see fish as they come up and start taking the floaters. And by just keeping feeding regular, we're not fishing very far out, we're letting the baits drift on the wind towards the fish where the fish feels safe to take it. It's a messy job, but someone's got to do it. And when it catches your fish, who cares? So, as we've already mentioned, something that's really helping us get our baits out to these fish is a floating line. Now the new glide reel line is pretty much purpose built for floating tactics where you need your line to stay above the water. So if you stick float fishing on a river, for instance, or like we are today, surface fishing, with the wind off my back, I can literally open the bail arm and my little mega banded piece of bread is actually going to keep going across the lake towards the feeding fish, and the line itself will just stay on top of the water. I can mend it almost like a fly angler mends a braided line, and there's a few reasons why it's able to do that, which is pretty technical, but bear with me because it's worth knowing about. Now, you might have seen floating lines before and they've been hollow. And the problem with a hollow line is it ends up being not very strong. So we didn't want to go down that route. There's something that is important when you're trying to make a line sink is to have a line that's very, very round, and also have a line that's got colour in it, because the colour makes it heavier and makes it want to sink. The roundness of the line also makes it easier to cut through the surface film. And once you've sunk it down, it'll stay submerged. Whereas a glide line, it's got no colour in it at all, which helps with the buoyancy. But it's also got the same specific gravity as water. Now that is a technical term, but it's one of the terms they use when they make monofilament. So the specific gravity of Korum feeder line, for instance, is more than water. So it actually wants to sink. When you sink that down, it stays submerged. Whereas with the glide, it is exactly the same as water. So it really does want to stay on the surface, and unless you purposely try and get it to sink, it's not going to sink, and even then I reckon it'll still come straight up. And last but by no means least, the shape of the line. As I mentioned before, if you want a line to sink, it should be round. This isn't round. This is almost like a round circle made up of straight lines. Polygonal it's called, which is a bit of a mouthful, but it done half work. And we've used this a lot, tested it a lot, especially on the river, but also for surface fishing, opportunist fishing like this. And it's an absolute godsend. whether you're fishing with a controller float or free lining as we are today.
Okay.
Well,
just trying to avoid that snag. Give me a sec.
You've definitely found the dream ticket with the hook bait.
Oh my word.
I think your hook bait might be better than a piece of baby bell.
Well, we'll give it a go, didn't we? I think this is a small one because he's going absolutely
yeah, he's racing around.
I'm trying to talk. I'm just scared he's going to stag me up. But yeah, yeah, just trying to match me hook bait to the size of the pellets I'm feeding, basically.
And we've been feeding him really close, haven't we? And just letting the baits drift to the fish.
And trying to be careful regarding sort of making a splash with our floats. Like that wax just pops in lovely.
Yeah.
And like, you can see the response from when you floater fishing, chucking on fish is like a massive no-no, isn't it?
These are actually responding to that tiny little plop.
These are coming to that little plop.
I dare say if we pellet waggler fish today with something like a loaded blob, you catch loads.
Well, we can try it, maybe try it a little bit. Something to try, isn't there?
Well,
unless there's...
That's not a very big carp. Is it a carp?
It is, it's just, yeah, it's an embryo. I'll tell you what.
It's giving a good scrap.
He'd then half. Mind you, they're so sprightly because, like you said, they're recovering from spawning, they're eating loads, pumped up. Yeah, I picked the small one out. There you go.
Look at that. Look at him. He's like
Defiance.
Yeah, he's like Tyrone Nora on a protein bar. Well, I've been in product development, you know, for 12 years. And I like to think we've thought some cool little innovations at Korum, but you've always got to listen to your consultant. So when I seen you using that, I thought, that's a belting idea.
You can have all the tackle in the world, can't you, sometimes? A little bit of wax, and it's made a big difference today so far, hasn't it?
Well, like you said, that plop is almost the same as the hook bait, as the freebies.
And yeah, I don't think it's something that they recognise as being caught on before. Like, it's a different plop, isn't it? It's something like it's a plop that like you've said, something that they've been fed on before. So instead of having like the adverse effect of them spooking, they've actually come into it.
Yeah.
Like which is very handy.
Definitely. Well,
but yeah, I think you've gone one step further.
Oh yeah, put it on the hook. I'm going to actually go with one of the those little oozing floaters that come in the little Sonu packs.
Yeah.
We'll have another couple of chucks here, but I reckon our time is up in this bay.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, we said we were going to have a move around, didn't we? Like, well, I haven't seen the other lakes yet, so I'm quite keen to go and have a look.
I put some bait in earlier on, so we'll go and have a mooch.
So, mate, but super.
One last cast, there'll be another 3.
That one there, look.
On the baby bell.
See that one? He's that bigger one.
All behind him. I'll tell you what, Age, if a doctor come at you with one of them, I reckon you'd be off, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But it's what I've been using to make it really easy.
Yes.
Look at that.
Yes.
To band one of those little floaters that come in the floater packs. And I haven't caught as many as you though. So what have you been doing? Because you've kept it up your sleeve all day.
Just a little, a small hook bait really. So I'm just gluing a little mixer on the back of that is a little bit of chopped down pop-up. So it hopefully sits, as the little biscuit takes on water, it will sit up, upside down. So that's light enough for me to be able to visually be able to see my hook bait. But it always sort of sits the right way. So
like a little surface snowman.
So there's nothing sort of, they're eating all the biscuits around which have took on water. So it looks much more natural, like match the hatch sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's my thinking.
Yeah.
A smallish hook, like that's a 14 all-rounder.
Yeah, I've used a much smaller hook than me.
Yeah.
I reckon that's cost me a few fish
well,
today.
That helps with sort of the buoyancy, getting away with a small hook bait. Like if I had a big hook on, it's trying to drag it down.
And that's another reason why, you know, a buoyant hook link is also important as your main line, because if that hook bait keeps coming back towards your float, or it keeps coming back towards you, you can be sure your hook link is sinking.
Yes.
So keep it greased up.
You sometimes see the fish, don't you, go between the hook bait and whatever you're using as a controller. And they're almost, I'm sure they almost feel flat line if there's,
Oh yeah,
do you know what I mean?
definitely.
If it has sunk slightly and they just catch themselves on it and that's it.
Well, that's why they seemed happy to eat the bit of baby bell there.
Yeah.
But when you actually put it on the hook, I did catch one like it, but
did
they were
catch
cagey. they definitely preferred eating it when
They
it
seem-
wasn't attached to
They
it.
liked it more than bread for some reason, which was really bizarre. But yeah, it's been tough with conditions changing. With winds really picked up, hasn't it? But
Yeah.
by just moving around and with these flicking this bit of wax at them.
Yeah, mega. That is in my armoury now.
Yeah, man.
You're not having that back.
No, keep it.
Off to Morrison's to buy some baby bell.
Yeah, she's got to eat a shed load of
I'm
cheese
going
now.
to show Harry how this really works now.
No. Another sneaky little tip that I've been doing is, so that is actually a sinking bait. And I've got those two little blobs there as like a bite indication. And because it's just below the surface, the carp, when they're being really moody and they're just sort of coming nudging the biscuits, it's something they very rarely see. Like, I suppose you can, it's a similar presentation to putting a zig just under the water, but with no line through the water column, it just tricks them. Like, if there came a point today where this stopped working because they started feeding properly on mixers. So then I took this off and went on the top and used the trim down hook bait. But before they got really going, this was what was picking them up. Just because out of curiosity, they were coming up, sort of, it's almost safe because they just don't get caught there. So that is, to me, that catches me loads of fish, to be fair. So it's a great little tip.
Well, Harry, I think that, what did Rex Hunt used to say? Yibbida yibbida.
Yeah.
The wind's come, the birds have come.
I mean,
The sun's not very warm anymore.
I don't know what. Yeah, we've moved and we've moved again. Like we're trying to put ourselves on fish, but yeah, I think every seagull in the postcode's just descended on us, hasn't it?
Absolutely.
I mean, that doesn't do it justice. Like,
Nah.
Now we've stopped feeding, but
Well, we tried to catch them with sort of traditional floater fishing. We would come down here with surface bombs, loads of bait. We were going to talk to you about how to get the fish feeding, but they just weren't interested. Yeah. We've ended up having to scratch bites with bits of baby bell.
Yeah, bits of wax and just flicking.
Little blobs, little free line baits. And we've caught plenty, you know, we've had a good day. We've only been here a few hours, but I reckon it's time, mate.
It is, isn't it, mate? We're flogging a bit at the minute.
I think we should go and fish for something else.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, well.
See you on the next video. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment about how handsome Harry is.
Yeah,
and we'll see you on the next one.